Hey guys, it's Miki ASMR here, and this is part 3 to my Tsukishima Kei listener series titled 10 Stages of Me and You. This one is going to be a little bit longer than the other ones most likely because I'm not going to be editing it like I did the other ones because that took me like 2 hours to edit and I don't have time to do that. So if I make mistakes, I'm sorry, but I've gotten a little bit better at reading, so hopefully it won't be that bad. But this is part 3 to my most popular series, so yeah, and this is also a 150 subscriber special. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned to my YouTube videos. I really appreciate it. And anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. This one might be a little bit shorter but also longer. I think it'll cancel out because the chapters are shorter for this episode, but I'm not editing it, so I don't really know. Anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. So I'll get started and I hope you guys enjoy. Awkwardness and insecurity. I want to hold you close, but I don't think I should. Stage 4. Stage 4. Her. And if you don't know, that means it is in your perspective. Listener didn't know what to do. It's too loud. Too loud. The girl could feel her heartbeat without touching it. It was too much. She felt like everyone could hear it. Not that she'd care about their opinions. What she did care about, though, was the tall blonde who was walking with her. Although it was impossible, Listener was scared that her own heartbeat would expose her secret admiration for Kei. Her breathing pattern became very fast, catching the attention of the boy beside her. "Are you doing a marathon back there? Your breathing is way too fast for a walk." "Ah, sorry," Listener said, putting her hand on her neck. "You don't look okay," Kei said, looking at the girl and pointed out her current state. She seemed bothered and looked like someone who had just finished 20 laps of jogging with her flushed cheeks. "The situation is not okay. I don't want to stay here any longer. Should I run? No. He'll know something's up. I can't stay like this though. I don't think being around him is good for my health." Listener tried to think of ways to escape her current situation before her heart could jump out of her chest. She went over all the possible actions before settling with the one she was most common with. "Are you really the lamppost? You sure you ate something? Maybe it's the empty stomach talking," Listener said, placing her thumb on her chin and her index finger on her chin. Wait, what? Listener said, placing her thumb under her chin and her index finger on her chin. She stared at the blonde while pretending to assess what was wrong with him. Kei clicked his tongue and said, "In here I thought you were sick or something. Turns out you're just being an idiot again." "Hey," Listener pouted, placing her hands on her waist. "I am not an idiot." "Sure, keep telling yourself that. Maybe that'll come true." Listener laughed, surprising the guy. "Sure, I'll add that to my list of wishes when a shooting star passes by." Other than the fact that Kei makes her heart run faster than ever, the guy also made her feel very happy. Maybe that was the reason why, no matter how much she wanted to run for the sake of her heart, she still didn't leave. Well, she did the day before, but still. "Ah, I can't believe liking someone can lead to so many contradictions. I want to hear him, I want to be near him, but I want to hide at the same time. I want to hold his hand, but I don't want to as well. He makes me all nervous, yet happy whenever I'm with him. Just what are you doing to me, Tsukishima?" Listener glanced up at Kei, who was walking silently beside her. It was too silent. Often they'd ramble about things to each other whenever it was quiet. They'd often ramble with each other whenever they were with each other. But ever since the day they got ice cream, they seemed to talk less, or at least tense up around each other. But teasing was like 80% of their conversation. "So, did she do something wrong? Oh no, did he notice that she was different? You seem to be lost in your thoughts recently. Try not to think too much. It's bad for those who don't have a brain." "Oh, lamppost, maybe that's why you're having such a headache. Because you're brainless. Idiot. If you're the one experiencing the headache, then you're the brainless one," Kei said, rolling his eyes at the hair-colored girl. "Is that how it works?" Listener said, tilting her head to the side while doing so. "Of course, you idiot munchkin." "Wait a minute, Giraffe," Listener said, pointing towards the boy. "How would you know if you're not brainless as well?" Don't associate me with your kind, gremlin. Oh, come on, lamppost, join the dark side. Kei looked at Listener, who was grinning at him before saying no. Worth the shot, Listener shrugged her shoulders as she took a turn while walking. Oh, in just 1 second, Listener almost got ran over, got pulled into a securing hug, and got to feel her crush's hand on her wrist. An eventful morning, to say the least. Stop being an idiot, idiot. You should be more aware of your surroundings. When Listener took a turn, she wasn't able to notice the speeding motorcycle that was going to cross with her. Kei, who was able to notice and react in time, grabbed her wrist with his left hand and pulled her to him. As a reaction, he secured her in place by wrapping his right arm around her face to hide her gagarin. I don't know what that means, sorry. Sorry, she mumbled, but her voice muffling. Name was still trying to process the whole thing. The motorcycle incident was already past her. What she couldn't get over was that Kei was still holding her. He probably thought that she was still shaken up by what happened, but actually, she just didn't want to move. How often is it that you get to be so close to him, considering his attitude? The chance was here, and she was going to enjoy it as much as she could. Plus, she wasn't sure, but she might be a blushing mess at the moment. If Kei were to find out, she'd never hear the end of it. Hey, you're not dead. Move. And time's up. Time skip. Listener continued to stare at her left wrist while in class waiting for her teacher. His hand was warm. No matter how much he acted like a cold jerk, his hand was still warm. Of course it was. He was alive, but still. It kind of surprised her. Maybe I should get in trouble more often to experience holding his hand. But will he keep calling me an idiot for that? I don't think it's worth the trouble. Or is it? Liking someone really does make you think stupid things. But she couldn't deny it. She wanted to hold his hand. She wanted to hug him. She wanted to show affection. But she didn't have the right to. Tsukishima Kei. How much it would take for a chance to express what I feel for you without telling you I like you. Stage 4. Him. Classes had already started, and yet the scene from earlier still hadn't left his mind. Kei actually held her wrist. He actually held it. Granted, it was more of a reaction to the danger the almost injured girl was put in, but still, in any other circumstances, he wouldn't have had the courage to do so. He knew that deep inside him, he wanted to hold her close and make sure that she doesn't go away. But that wasn't him, right? Kei suddenly felt lost. How was he going to deal with these emotions when almost all of his life he avoided such things? He never had a crush. Sure, there were people that he thought were attractive, but it never led to actually liking them. This was new territory, and he didn't know how to handle it. In the slightest chance that it evolves into a relationship, can he even handle it? Wait, why am I thinking there's a chance? I'm gonna give myself all these false hopes about a future that might not even be possible. What was even her type of guy? Kei realized how little he knew about you as a manager. He realized how little he knew about you. If he started asking questions about her, she'd noticed. Then his secret might be realized. He had to make sure it came in a subtle way. His best bet was going to be using someone else. His best bet was Yamaguchi. Time skip. It was the first break. Listener rarely joined them, but when it was the first break, she'd often spend it either doing homework that she wasn't able to do or sleep. So this was a perfect time to start his plan. Yamaguchi, Kei said, grabbing the attention of his friend. Come with me. The two started to walk away from the building to the grounds behind the school campus. He made sure that no one else, or at least only a few people, were nearby. What is it, Tsuki? Tadashi asked. I just want to know, since you're really close with surname, do you have any idea of what her preference on guys are? Kei looked away from his friend as he finished the sentence. Surname? We haven't really talked about it, Wait, Tadashi looked up at Kei, squinting as he continued talking. Suki, do you perhaps like surname? Kei, surprised by his statement, barely got the stutter out a letter as he tried to explain himself. His red ears and failed attempt at talking already gave Tadashi the answer he was looking for. Wow, Suki likes someone. Shut up, Yamaguchi. Don't act like it's an impossible thing. Tadashi waved his hands and shook his head as he explained himself. No. It's just that I've never really seen you as the type of person to actually pursue someone you like. Kei clicked his tongue before saying, Who said I was gonna pursue her? Sorry, Suki, for assuming that. I mean, you weren't though. If you weren't though, then why were you asking her what her type of man was? Why are you asking me about what her type of man is? Kei could only sigh as he wondered himself. It's not like he decided that he wanted to pursue her. Maybe he was just curious. Perhaps it came along with a desire to get to know you better. Is that why he was trying to learn about what kind of men she liked? Because he wanted to get to know her better? Maybe. He wasn't really sure himself anymore. If you want, I could ask her about it, Tadashi said. He never really saw Kei that confused, and if he could, he wanted to help him. He would. If you want to, go ahead. I don't really care. But he did. He did actually care. Time skip. Half of the day passed already, which meant one thing: lunchtime. As usual, Listener went to class 1-4 to eat her lunch with the duo. Tadashi could barely wait for the girl to approach them. I'm gonna take this seat again. Excuse me to the one who owns a seat. Listener turned around the chair before sitting. As usual, she placed her lunchbox on Kei's table. The blonde remembered how she started doing that because she wanted to irritate him at first, but then it became a normal thing for them to do, and Kei never really found a reason to complain about it. Hey, Yamaguchi, you won't believe what happened during my modern lit class. Kei noticed how Listener was the type to talk about what happened during lunch instead of actually eating it. This was one of the reasons why she'd often end up rushing her eating. Before 10 minutes even passed, Kageyama was already asleep. That boy, really, I hope he doesn't fail or is forced to leave the club or something. That'd really be a pain. You're really concerned with him, aren't you, Surname? Could it be that you liked him? Kei nearly choked on his food. When Tadashi said he was going to find a way to ask Surname what her type was, he never really expected he'd be this blunt. It seemed like even Listener was caught off guard by the question. Like Kageyama? I would never. Listener, although surprised with the question, was quick to reject the idea. I just don't want to lose any members of the team. Oh, then what do you like in guys, Surname? Kei pretended to act disinterested. He only stared at his food while waiting for the girl to answer his friend's questions. What I like in guys? I guess someone that's nice to me. Shit. Someone who's always showed that they cared, even if it was just in little ways. What does she mean by little ways? How do you do that? Oh, I guess someone who'd be able to handle me. Finally, something achievable. Oh, and I prefer if he was sweet to me from time to time. Oh. In regards to looks, I don't really look for anything physical in the aspect, but if I had to choose, maybe someone taller than me? Taller? Well, at least I got one thing down for sure. That doesn't really say much though. A lot of people are taller than me, but in the end, I don't think that matters. If I like someone, I like them. For whatever reason it may be, I'll like them. Whether they're my type or not, I wouldn't be able to stop if I ended up catching feelings for them. Listener just smiled at Tadashi as she finished answering the question. How about you, Yamaguchi? What do you look for in someone? Oh, I guess I share the same sentiments as you. I don't care much. If I end up liking someone, then so be it. It'd be nice if the person that I liked was a cute one. Ooh, how about you, Beanstalk? Do you have a type? Listener stared at the blonde who was sitting in front of her, eating his lunch. Yeah, Suki, do you? Kei gave Tadashi a quick glare before turning his attention to the girl who asked the question. No. Listener pouted. No. You must look for at least something in a person. I don't. Rather than wasting your time on that, you should start eating. Kei didn't really have a type. He never gave that a thought. Instead, Besides, if he did answer that, he might as well have just told her that he liked her. After all, if I have to describe what I like about a person, I might as well just end up describing you. If I had a type, it'd be you, full name. That's so cute. Oh my god, stop. Intimacy. I want to hold your hand. I want to hug you. I want to know you. Stage 5. Stage 5. Her. Listener felt different today. For some reason, she woke up with a blinding confidence and told herself that today was going to be the day she did a high 10 with Kei. The girl still didn't have a plan of action, but she was determined, so at least that was a start. It was the last bell of class before the first break. The girl couldn't wait for the bell to ring and for the teachers to leave. She fiddled with her pen as she stared blankly towards the board. The night before, she did some advanced reading for the class she was currently taking. After walking home with Kei again, she found it difficult to sleep with her thoughts and feelings all over the place, so she redirected all of her attention to the reading ahead. It didn't really help much, though. She understood what she was reading, but now she felt bored while the teacher was discussing it. The lesson was slow-paced to help the class understand it more. She already knew this was a good teaching technique, but due to her advanced reading, she couldn't help but feel like it was too slow. Other than that, she wanted to see Kei again. The moment the bell rang, Listener's eyes lit up. After gathering her belongings, the teacher immediately left the room. Listener was the second person to leave their class, zooming towards the door as the teacher left. She reached into the back door of class 1-4. She peeked her head and called the attention to the tall blonde. Psst, salty french fry. Kei, recognizing the voice, turned to the door nearest to his seat. He raised his eyebrow towards the girl, who had only had her head and hand visible from his ankle. What do you need? Where's Yamaguchi? Listener asked, stepping to the side and standing straight. He had some errands to do. Why? Nothing. Come here. The girl beckoned him to come closer with her left hand. Kei clicked his tongue before complying to her wishes. Before he could even ask what she wanted, Listener had already started dragging him towards the vending machine. She pointed to a box that had her favorite drink. I want that. Kei stared at the girl, confused. You want me to buy a box of your favorite drink? I mean, if you want to, I'm not stopping you, Listener said, grinning at the boy. But that's not what I brought you here for. Other than the fact that it's fun to drag you, I also thought it'd be fun to share a drink. You randomly picked today to drag me here to share a drink. Kei was more confused than ever with her actions. He couldn't ever really comprehend the randomness that came with her. I found it today that they had it here. After a month of studying, I only realized it now. Jeez. The girl continued to mutter to herself as she started clicking on the buttons and inserting her coins into the vending machine. She took out what she bought. She had 2 boxes of her favorite drink. Hey, lamppost, give me your hand. Listener gestured to him, putting his palm in her left hand. Gee, you munchkin, if you wanted to hold my hand, you could have told me, Kei teased. I don't think I could handle that yet. Listener pouted as a response, but quickly held out her hand. Gimme, quick. The blonde laid his hand in her palm. Listener then dropped one of the boxes from her right hand and retracting it into her left. What's this for? Well, accepted as some sort of celebration gift. Celebration gift? For me finding out that my favorite drink was just one vending machine away. The girl grinned at the guy, who was once again confused. If I don't want it, do I have to drink it? Kei said. Well, then it's a win-win for me. I'll get 2 boxes of my favorite drink. You're really weird today. Weirder than usual. Really? Listener said, looking up at him again before... My what? Really? Listener said, looking up before looking back at her tall friend. Maybe it's because of lack of sleep. I tend to get all hyper and stuff, more than usual when I lack sleep. Oh, speaking of, Wi-Fi has been really fast for me in the middle of the night. It's really nice. How long did you sleep? Kei asked, secretly concerned with your well-being. Listener looked at her unoccupied hands and counted it. 4 hours. She held up with her hand and her thumb tucked into her palm. Kei once again clicked his tongue as he looked away from her. No wonder your energy seems to surpass Hinata. You're gonna run out of it soon, though. The blonde started to walk past walk towards the building again after realizing that their break time would soon be over. Listener, who had took a second or two to realize that Kei had left her, immediately bolted to his side. "Don't worry, I have enough adrenaline to last me the day." Kei chuckled before responding with a hint of teasing. "Sure you do. I wasn't able to get my goal, but worry not, my dear hand. We still have a day to get it." Time skip. Turns out, Listener did not have adrenaline to last her through the day. Before 5 minutes could even pass, the girl was found sleeping on the stage inside the gym. Kei, who was first to notice, didn't bother to stifle a snicker as he watched her surrender herself to sleep. The blonde then approached her sleeping figure and placed his folded cream sweater under her head. This action was left unnoticed by the team, except for two. The skirt that came along with the girl's uniform was short, and Listener wasn't the type to wear stockings. Kei softly sighed in relief that the girl had changed into a tracksuit before sleeping. If she hadn't, then he'd have to go all the way back to their locker room to grab his jacket to cover her with it. Tadashi, who was one of the people who saw him, smiled at Kei. The middle blocker quickly understood where that smile was coming from and looked away from his friend. Koshi, who also saw the scene, approached Kei and placed his hand onto the blonde's shoulder. When the third year gave him a grin, Kei could only look away with his ears turning red. The whole team practiced. Kei had to make sure that no stray balls came towards their sleeping manager. The team also looked out for Listener while wondering what made the girl so sleepy. Although they liked hearing her shout and cheer for them during practice, they all collectively decided that they'd let her rest for now. When practice ended, Shoyo was the one who went towards their manager and woke her up. With his loud voice, it didn't take long for Listener to stop sleeping. After hearing Shoyo call her name while poking her arm, the girl sat up straight and rubbed her eye with her hand. "Oh, Hinata, is club done?" Listener said with a soft voice. The small ball of sunshine nodded his head and smiled at their younger manager. "You slept through the whole club time, even when the ball was going whoosh and bam on the floor. You didn't wake up." Listener chuckled at the boy and apologized. No, it's okay, but we need to start fixing the equipment. Daichu's orders. Honestly, I want to spike some more, but they won't let me." Shoyo proceeded to pout, feeling dejected that he couldn't spike anymore. "Well, if you leave now, you'll get sleep soon, and before you know it, it's morning training and you get to spike again." Shoyo nodded and grinned as he held up both of his hands to high 10 with Listener. This was sort of a habit between the two. Whenever practice ended, the girl would congratulate him for his efforts with the high 10. Yosh! Listener raised both of her hands to hit Shoyo's. Their libero, who also was close with Listener, also came up to them. "Surname, me too," Yu said as he approached the two. "Sure, Noya-senpai, although I'm sorry I wasn't able to watch you practice today." "No, it's okay. Tomorrow I'll show you some of my cool moves." Their guardian deity flashed a grin at the female Kohai before raising both of his hands up to meet a high 5. Okay, the two did a high 10 before Yu and Shoyo both left to assist in cleaning up. As they walked away, the girl looked at her palms and thought about how she also wanted to do that with Kei. It's so easy to get a high 10 from them, but when it comes to Tsukishima, it's so hard. Listener, who noticed the sweater that her head was resting on, began to wonder who the owner was. She grabbed it and hung it on her arm before walking away from the stage. Her eyes scanned the room, looking for a sign to figure out who the owner was. "What are you looking for, Surname?" their vice captain asked. "In case you're wondering, it belongs to Tsukishima." The girl had a pink tint on her cheeks the moment Kei's name was mentioned, which once again didn't go unnoticed by their senpai. "Oh, thank you, Suka-senpai." Listener quickly bowed to Koshi before walking towards the middle blocker. While doing so, she thought it would be a good idea to get what she wanted. "Hey, lamppost. Oh, if it isn't Little Miss, I have enough adrenaline to last me through the day." Kei once again decided to tease the girl. Listener, who was too flustered to tease back, instead asked him to hold up both of his hands again. "Why, are you going to give me another drink?" "No." Without any warning, the girl pulled both of his hands to her own and gave him a low 10. "I don't think I've ever give you a high 5s, so I'll give you a low 10, for now." The girl grinned at the guy who seemed to be surprised by her actions. "Oh, thank you, by the way." listener put Kei's sweater on his hands before dashing off to help the others. She looked at both of her hands and grinned to herself. It wasn't what I aimed for, but it's getting close to something. Anyways, I'll get that high 10 next time. Wow, I actually didn't mess up that much. Damn, usually these videos, I actually recorded this video before, but it's been a while, and I decided to re-record it because I messed up so many times. The video was like 40 minutes long without me editing it at all, and this one obviously isn't edited. You guys can hear all the mistakes. I love this story so much though. I've read this so many times, and there is actually a sequel to this story as well, so I'm definitely going to be reading the sequel, which is why I wanted to push out the part 3, because there's actually going to be 7 parts to this series. 7 whole parts. The last part's going to be a little bit shorter because it's only 4 chapters, but yeah, there's going to be 7 whole parts of the series, so I just decided to pump out the 3rd part, and I'll try to get the 4th part out hopefully next week, because I want to do other stories in between. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the part 3. Please don't pressure me for a part 4 immediately, because that's kind of discouraging. I don't know, you probably don't see it that way, but it kind of is, and it's a little annoying. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Tsukishima is my favorite character, which is why I have read this story a good 400 times. Also, somebody requested for me to do more Tsukishima ex-listeners, which I'm so glad for, because I have plenty of stories to read for those. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.